today because we are going to be doing the secret sauce of MLS Success Pro Tools for Everyday Wins. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the different things that are in the MLS that are available to you as a part of that benefit that you can be using that will make your lives a lot easier, help you get the information that you need to work with your buyers and your sellers. Before I get started on that, though, I do need to let you know of who your GPR MLS team is. We are not OABR. OABR is your association. I do partner with them, and you see me there at times, about twice a month now. But I am actually GPR MLS. There are several different associations that make up our regional MLS, and you guys happen to be one of them. And I go all over our region, helping everybody just like you. Denise Bechet, I'm going to start with. She is our operations manager. She has been with the MLS for 18 plus years, and we are very lucky to have her. And she keeps us going in the right direction, stays on top of all of the industry changes that are going to affect us, that are going to affect you, and how we're going to attack those and get those working so it works for us. And we're very lucky to have her. Beth Powers is our MLS compliance administrator. She handles all things MLS rules compliance. So if you have questions about, can I do something? Or I had a question brought to me today right before I started, asking me about an office exclusive and it went pending. Can we put it into the MLS or do we have to wait for it to go sold? The answer to that, this lady, because I texted her and she said, yeah, you can put it in the MLS, no problem, as a pending. So she's great for those types of questions. She also handles data integrity and accuracy, as well as system issues. Paragon's not working quite right. She heads that up, as well as MLS users groups. So if you want to get more involved in the MLS or learn more about it or have a voice in rules, that would be a great place to start. She is the liaison for that, and she can answer questions for you on it or tell you how to do that. Renee Westfall has a real big hat that she has to wear because she has to know a little bit of everything. She handles all general assistance. So if you're not sure who you're supposed to call, that would be a great place to start. She also is our handles the data integrity as well, but she is our expert with data feeds and data vendor access. So think this way. You have a nice, bright, shiny new listing that went live, as we call it in agent world, today. Everything's going around great, except your seller calls and they are mad because they weren't just on Realtor.com and they don't see their listing, and it should be there. Renee, she is the person who's going to be able to figure out what's going on with it and contact Realtor.com to get it fixed. So that would be the gal that you want to have on speed dial. And then, of course, there's me. I'm your trainer. Prior to this position, I got into real estate about 24 years ago. I started in Conifer, Colorado, a little bitty town outside of Denver. Went back and got my employee broker's license there. I've also practiced in Missouri as well as here in Nebraska. My licenses are in inactive status so that I can do what I'm doing with you guys today. I think it helps me when you're talking to me about how you're using the MLS or how can I do this? I had this scenario. I've probably been in that scenario, or I've heard of a good friend or a fellow agent who's been in that. I think like you guys do. The agent heart in me is never going to quit. So with that, you can always find us at gprmls.com. Go to the staff page. Under that tab for resources, you will find all of the associations that make up this region, as well as your own association, OABR. So if you can't lay your hands on the phone number that you need, this is a great place to go. This is also a great place to go for gprmls.com to get a lot of information, resources, training, CRS data, RPR, getting into Paragon. There's a button there that you can click and it'll take you right to where you need to log in at. So if you're ever on an unfamiliar computer or something and you need to jump in there, you don't have your phone, you can always go to our staff page or our gprmls.com and you'll find a login button right there. All righty. So more additional support. Paragon is available to you outside of our hours. We're available to you Monday through Friday from about 8 to about 4:45. But Paragon has extended hours. Monday through Friday, they're open from 6 to 8 p.m. Saturdays from 9 to 3 and 11 until 3. You'll also find that number if you go to the staff page I was telling you about. Scroll down to the bottom. That's where you'll find that information. You'll also find it inside of Paragon itself if you click on help, which will also take you to this screen where you can get help on Paragon Professional or Paragon Connect or get troubleshooting. Anybody ever had anybody opt out of your email accidentally and they need back in? You'll find the solution to that under troubleshooting. You don't actually have to have a phone call to us to do it for you. They have videos there as well as some step-by-step instructions for different things, and you can find that anytime because it's on your help site. All right, there's an additional thing. I sent out an email yesterday, and if you're logged into Paragon Professional and you go to yesterday's date, there's a little announcement there with a little link, and it takes you here. This is from ICE, who does Paragon for us. And they do webinars. Right now, they've got impact sessions, which are about 20 minutes long. You can register for them, and it's on all different kinds of Paragon Connect. The list goes on down here, but I could not get a nice picture where you all would actually be able to see it because there's so many classes. You can sign up for those and take them at your leisure. There's no additional charge. So if you sign up for it and you can't make it, it's okay. All right, it's all right. They will send you a recording, however. If you missed it, you will need to email them. You get a nice little thank you email. And if you have questions, there's a link in there that you can email. It's usually Natalie. But they'll send you the recording if you want it. Okay. So with that, toolboxes. How many of you guys have a toolbox in your vehicle that you use in your business? All right, toolbox has many different meanings. My toolbox was a literal toolbox in my Jeep. I still have it. And it had everything in there from, excuse me, I have a tipple. Had everything in there from paper, pens, trash bags, dusting cloths. I even had a broom and said, have broom will travel. I've swept out more than my share of garages before, but it's those things that we have to have. Air freshener. Maybe you're walking in to do an open house and there's that ungodly smell from breakfast. Yeah, you have those things, but there's also additional toolbox things. And that would be your MLS. We use it every single day. I never thought of it as a tool in my business. It was just something I always went to so that I could find houses for my buyers. It's where I put my listings for my sellers, and it's where I found all kinds of information, right? I use it every single day. Not well, okay? My beginning business in Colorado, whoa, I did not know a fourth of what I know now, okay? Before I took this position 3 years ago, I thought I used Paragon pretty well. I was, but not as well as I could have. All right, there's so many different things in here. And as agents, somebody is always telling you, use this if you pay, and you'll get all this stuff, right? Most of it you're already getting included in the membership that you pay for every single month to access the MLS. So that's what we're going to show you today. I'm going to show you, and I'm having to go without my notes here, so forgive me if I backtrack a little bit. But what are your tools? Well, there's Paragon Professional. There's Paragon Connect. Does anybody know what the difference is? There is no difference. It's the same MLS, okay? One of them, however, is on your desktop. That would be Paragon Professional. If you've been in the business a really long time, this is what you're used to seeing when you log in, and you used it all the time. If you've ever tried to use it on your mobile device, it stinks. You're having to put it into your mobile browser. It doesn't adjust to your phone. It's clunky. It doesn't go well. It's not fun. Paragon Connect is made for your mobile devices, your phones, your laptops, your tablets, and you can use it on your desktop. What you see in one, you will see in the other. What you do in one, you will see that change in the other one. It's the same thing, just different platforms. You also have an app for Paragon Connect. Oops. Maybe I didn't want to do that. Can you fix that? I forget you guys are touch screen. Thank you. All right. I'll try really hard not to do that again.
You at the top, Linnell, and
yeah.
Never mind. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, you have an app. Oops. You have an app for your phone now. It used to be that you could put a shortcut on your phone, and that would be Paragon Connect, and it worked well too. Not as well as the app. It's an actual app you download off of what happened?
Oh, is it all this? I'm gonna try to. I should get them.
So is that why I have two on my phone potentially? One's black and then one's
The black one is the
lavender.
app. This one is what it came out with. It's probably a shortcut.
The shortcut's probably
If you're
black.
not-
There's apps the black.
If you're not sure, delete them both. Delete them both and then go back to the app store that you use on your phone and re-download it. And then you know that you have the actual app, okay? A lot of folks will say, this isn't working like you said it was going to, and I take a look at their phone and it's a shortcut. As soon as I delete the shortcut and download the app for you, it works great, okay? The other thing is this little app here, I'm not touching it, but this app, that one is for your clients. It's the Collaboration Center app. Did you know you had it? It's fairly new, so don't feel bad if you don't know about it yet. It's an actual app that you can use for your clients. It's an invitation only. They cannot download it without you. I mean, they can download it, but they can't access it without you. They need an invitation code that is automatically assigned to them when you put a contact into the MLS in your contact section. We're going to talk about that. The other thing we're going to do is CRS data. CRS data is courthouse retrieval system. It is bringing information in for you that you can autofill if you're working on a CMA, or if you input your own listings, it will autofill certain things because it brings it right over from the tax assessor. Okay. The other thing that it will do is it will give you all kinds of information about that property. Getting ready for a CMA, that's the first place I go. I want to make sure that the person I was talking to is the person that owns the property. Now, anybody can tell me that they're the person that they own the property, but what I'm looking for is if Robert really owns that property, or does Robert have it titled in his trust or his LLC? And I just need to know that if it's in a trust or an LLC, that when I get to that point with them, I probably want to mention that, hey, when we go under contract, this is going to go to a title company, and the title company is going to be making sure everything gets handled and any liens against the property are released, and they put it in the name of the new person and all that good stuff. Well, they need to make sure if you're in an LLC or a trust, they need to make sure that you're the person supposed to be signing the docs. Most people don't leave those docs laying around anywhere. And sometimes they have to call their attorney to get it. And
It's a good life at Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. This is Melissa.
Got it. So that takes some time. If you have a cash deal and it's closing in 10 days, it might get delayed if they didn't have those documents available. So there's that. It also has links to FEMA. So if it's in a flood zone, it's going to tell me it's in a flood zone. And there's a little link there that I can click on. It will take me directly to FEMA. I don't have to go to FEMA's website. I don't have to input anything and make sure I'm in the right place to get that information should I need it. It takes me there automatically. It also will give you some mortgage history and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to show you that today. RPR. How many of you are familiar with RPR? All right. That is an NAR benefit. Okay. So as a National Association of Realtors, that is a benefit. They have an app you can put on your phone, but we also work with them and have them integrated into the MLS. So you don't ever have to leave the MLS to get information from it. You can go right there. How many of you knew that you can get 5,000 labels for free from CRS data and 2,000 labels for free from RPR for farming or any other use you want? Did you know that? My class in June is on that. Actually, it's on how to prospect using RPR, CRS data, and Paragon. Did you know you can reverse prospect in Paragon? And tools, guys, it's all tools. And then we also have some stats. How many of you have to talk stats with people that you're working with, whether it's a buyer or a seller? Everybody wants to know how the market is, right? Well, we get those numbers out of the MLS. Fast stats is what we get. They come out on the 15th of the month. Those are already put together for you. We get an email. Actually, Beth gets the email, and it says, hey, your reports are ready. And then she emails everybody in the MLS and lets them know, hey, reports are here, to make sure that the links are all there so you can look at them. I used to print them, and I put them in my little buyer packet or in my seller packet. And that way I could talk with them about it, or if they didn't want to talk about it, if they were more about the relationship, they'd be digging through that packet after I left, right? It's great overall resource. InfoSparks. Anybody here familiar with InfoSparks? Okay. InfoSparks takes it several steps further. It's like fast stats on steroids. I don't know how else to describe it. It is. You can bring that down to a neighborhood by zip code, school, elementary school, middle school, high school. You could do a neighborhood. Okay, so you just listed a property in a neighborhood. You could do an area in there where you could go in and get some stats on that neighborhood about what's happening in that neighborhood, and then use RPR or CRS data to pull a list of all of the neighbors around that, send them a just listed card. Oh, by the way, here's some stats. Put them on your postcard. You can get that information also from RPR, and RPR has free Canva templates for you to use that you can change, and you put those stats in there for you. So you could do that. Then when it's sold, You could give them a just sold, or if you're doing an open house, you could send out an open house. You could even personally invite just those neighbors and say, hey, we're having a special open house from 4 to 6 on Friday before anybody else gets to see it. Come take a look. Maybe you're interested in what houses in your neighborhood are selling for. Maybe you just want to see what the house looks like on the inside. You can come do that. No questions asked. Usually you'll find out if somebody's interested in selling. Okay, I already told you the difference. Who remembers what's the difference between Paragon and Paragon Professional? Yeah,
There's a
bingo. Which one is easier on your phone?
Paragon Connect.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. Paragon Connect, the app, is for agents. In fact, when you download it, it's going to ask you, are you an agent or a broker? They want to make sure you're not a consumer trying to use it. All right. The collab centers for your clients. Your clients can now take that collab center with them wherever it is they go. That's the MLS branded to you. We're going to talk about that as well. All right. Some Paragon MLS tools. You can do this in either Paragon Professional or Paragon Connect. You can set up auto emails. I had an agent come to me and she was really frazzled. And the first client that she had, the first buyer client that she had, piece of cake, no problem. But pretty soon she's doing open houses and she picked up a few more. And she says, Jaycee, I'm spending all my time doing searches. All of it. She says, I have no time for anything else. I said, well, aren't you setting them up on auto searches? She says, what's an auto search? Nobody told her. You can set up auto searches for your clients. You put in the criteria of what it is they're looking for. It will send it to them. You can set it up recurring. Maybe you have somebody who's just wanting to know what the market's like. Maybe that's once a month, or maybe they want it once a week. They're getting ready. You can set it up to be immediate. Every time a house hits the market that meets their criteria, it'll send them an email from you. Why is this good? Well, one, you're not having to sit tied to any device while you're working. Okay. And two, how many of you have ever forgotten somebody because they just didn't respond? We've all done it at some point. Okay. They're still getting emails. They think you're still working. You don't know what's happening. It could be my kid got sick, my mother or my mother-in-law has been in the hospital. You know, we just got a whole bunch of stuff new at the office, and it's just been crazy. But now they're ready and they saw a property that you sent them and have been sending them, and they call you up and they say, hey, Max. Hi, Max. You know, and they're saying, hey, you sent us this property. We're ready to go. I know, you know, it's been a while, but we're ready to go now. We want to go look at it. And you're saying, who are you? We're not going to say, I don't remember who you are. You start asking questions, right? You ask questions, you get dialogue going, and then, aha, I met you at the open house over on Flora Street. It comes back to you, all right? But in the meantime, they didn't realize you forgot about them, and you were still taking care of them by sending them auto emails. Now they're ready to go. Now you go meet with them, okay? Okay, you can also save your saved searches as a template. I don't know about you, but it seems like whenever somebody talks to me about wanting to buy a townhome, it's usually the same core stuff. I got tired of having to enter it every single time, so I set up a saved search with all that basic information, and I called it my townhome search, real original, right? I would just go to my saved searches, find townhome search, run it, and then I would put in any special criteria that I needed to for that particular person that I was working with. I'd do a save as, assign it to my client, done. Tons of time off of my plate. It adds up. You can also set up custom quick searches or just do a template. How many of you get asked, hey, I'm looking for a laundry room on the main floor laundry? That is not in your search criteria default unless you add it. And you can add it and have it be a part of your default every single time. And that way you're not hunting for it when you want it. And you can put it in any place that you want in your little search criteria. It will be there all the time. Let's see. Time filters. Let's say you've been looking at properties, you got a new person, and you've been talking back and forth, and you looked that morning and you got an appointment this afternoon, and you want to just do a really quick check before you go out there. Do you want to have to look through 55 properties first? There's time filters in there. You can put in list date or status date. So if it goes from status from coming soon to new, you're going to see it if you put that in. Will save you time. It's little things, Guys, it's little things, but once you get going and rolling, it all adds up. And in the long scheme of things, when you're going crazy, you don't know which way is up and you don't know which way is down, and you gotta go that way, no that way. This will calm it back down and save you time. The collab center, communication, guys. You forget about people. We get busy. People don't respond. You bug them. You feel like you're bugging them and they're still not responding. Auto emails, the collab center. They can be in their collab center, favoriting properties, saying, nope, that doesn't work, leaving you comments, requesting showings, and all you're doing is keeping track of it on your phone. You can see what's happening. Maybe they don't respond to text messages. Maybe they feel like they're getting all they need because you're responding to them within the collab center. It works. They can search. They can set up searches. This is what I like. They set up a search called acreages. When did we start looking for acreages? Okay, or out of town properties. Whoa, I thought we were looking in Ashland. Okay, you can see that and it will help you know where their thought process is. Did you know you can use the collab center for sellers as well? Your sellers, you can associate a property with that list, or associate the listing with a contact, and you can turn on their collab center and they can see what's happening with their listing in the MLS. What it does is the system keeps a little hashtag. Okay, so what happens is an agent recommends that property to somebody, goes click. A buyer sees it and puts a favorite on it. A buyer sees it and leaves a comment. It keeps track of those little hashtags and it will show them in a nice, clean little report that says, hey, you had, I'm going to give a ridiculous number, 50 agent views and 25 buyer views and 15 comments and that kind of thing. Or maybe you're getting nothing. No clicks, no comments, just passing through. What does that tell you? Maybe it's price. Maybe it's pictures. I don't know. But that's all part of it. And it's part of that toolbox that if you're talking with your seller, and you should be, you can talk about that and what that could mean depending on what's happening in the market and that listing. Gives you another tool in your toolbox to pick up so you can start that communication or reinforce the communication. Also, they can see competition. So they can see how their property is comparing to the other property without actually having to have an appointment and go walk through that property with you, unless you need them to do that. Some people we have to. Anybody had to do that before? I have. It's usually somebody very close to you. It's my best friend. She didn't believe me. I take her through with you. So they can do that right there and in the collab center.
Did you tell us, and did I miss how we get to, this might be it, how do we get to invite them?
How do you get to the collab center?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you
You
that.
are.
We're going to
Okay,
run through.
thanks.
I'm doing this a little bit differently today. Usually you see me jump back and forth. If you're familiar with me at all, I never get through this presentation when I do that because everybody's got questions as they go along and I don't get to talk to you or share with you where everything is. So I'm going to run through this quickly and then I'm going to jump out of it and I'm going to show you where this stuff is. You have to send an invitation, whether it's for your sellers or your buyers. You have to send them an invitation. It's the welcome email. This is a copy of what it looks like. It says, get the app today. Here's that invitation. I'm not touching. Here's that invitation code. Here's where they would click, and this is what they're looking for. It's all branded to you. Okay? You can send that invitation code. Let's say they say, hey, you sent me an email. It had an invitation code on it, and I lost it. Could you send it to me again? You can go into their contact and send it to them as a text. Okay? You don't have to copy it or paste it. It's just a click. All they have to do is copy paste it. They can download the Collab Center all day long, but without an invitation code, they cannot get in it. Seller property reports. Here's a copy of what that looks like. Doesn't have all of it because I couldn't fit it all into a slide. CRS data, time-saving information at your fingertips. I kind of touched on a lot of this. You can do prospecting through it. You can get facts and figures, area sales trends, demographics, school reports, all of the stuff. They're pulling information from the courthouse because it's courthouse retrieval system. Okay. They're pulling information there. They're pulling stuff out of the assessor's office and they're pulling stuff out of the MLS. Now, just something you should be aware is if that county does not have their stuff online, it won't be able to pull it. Okay, we don't see it too often, but we do see it. So just be aware of that. This is where I start. In fact, I print the information and it's part of my due diligence portion of my file. Realtor property resource. It's a realtor valuation resource. Okay, they have what's called a RVM, which is using MLS listings and sales data to provide an automated valuation. Sometimes they're spot on and sometimes they're really not. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt and just know you're the real estate professional. And just because it says it's worth 350, if you're going, no, you're probably right. Okay. But the point being is it has information in there for Zestimates, which is Zillow. You don't have to leave Zillow and go find that property. It will give it to you right there. Why would I want to know that as an agent? Anybody?
That's what your client's looking at.
Hmm?
That's what your client is looking at. They're looking at Zillow.
Right. You don't know it when you walk in, they're gonna go, where in the heck do you live? You know, are you under a rock? Okay, they're gonna expect you to know that. All right, so I like to have that. It also provides me information on the properties, on neighborhoods, on the cities, zoning, permits. Did they pull a permit to do that stuff? That is there. Social media posts, you can make flyers. Also, social media posts, they will tell you you can post directly to Facebook. You cannot. And the reason you cannot is our advertising laws in Nebraska are different. And we have to say, I am a realtor with, before we ever post anything about a property or real estate. We can't guarantee as an MLS that that's going to go over that way. So you can copy and paste it. But it will put that information in. You can copy and paste a dynamic or a static, and I can never remember which one, but one of those is you're talking about a moment in time. Okay, you're putting something out there that is saying, okay, on this day, on this year, this is what's happening in this neighborhood. But if you want to be the resource where every time they come to your page and they click on it, it gives them an update, you use the other one. I think it's dynamic.
It stays the same dynamic it moves.
Thank you. It tells me in there, so that's my cheat sheet. But anyway, I can have that and it will update it as it gets that information all the time, making you the expert in that neighborhood. I told you about the Canva templates. Fast stats. There you go. There's an example. You can look for a certain area. You can look for the entire MLS if you just want to talk about what's happening in the market in general for our entire area, or you can talk about just Elkhorn or Omaha or a zip code. It pulls it all together. It gives you kind of the big picture. InfoSparks takes it down. It's on steroids, man. I tell you what, it really is. And as an agent, I did not use this as much as I should have because it intimidated me. I didn't know how to use it. All right. I used Fast Stats, which still gave me the information I needed. But had I known what I know now, oh my goodness, you can set up your own areas. So every single one of you lives somewhere that may or may not have houses really right around you, or maybe you live out and you have a little bit of an acreage, but there's other people there. Nobody here is a secret agent, right? No secret agents in here. That's fabulous. So you should be the neighborhood expert for your area. You can set up a thing where you're getting information and use RPR to send out those postcards or newsletters. I had a guy who used to walk my neighborhood once a month. In fact, he still does. I don't live in that neighborhood anymore, but I understand from some of my friends, he still walks it. And he gets most of the listings in that area because he started out 11 years ago walking with a single piece of paper, black and white, with a little newsletter that had information about what was happening in the area. And on the back of it, it had like maybe some cooking stuff or gardening stuff. And then on the back of it, he had stats. He walked around the neighborhood once a month on the same day of the month, every single time. He just stuck at my door. If you were out and about, he'd talk to you if you were willing to be talked to. So if it was me, I'd gab. You bet. If it was my husband, no way. He's not talking to anybody. I keep running and running back in. Don't look at me. Total opposites. But you can get this information. That's my point. All right. All right, let's jump into all right, so logging in Paragon Professional. Oh, I really meant to be in Connect. Here's my icon. Here we are. You'll notice that when I got in here, it is giving me, this is my launch page or home page. It brings me in to see all my buyer activity first. I can customize that if I don't want to see buyers. Maybe I don't work with a lot of buyers. Maybe I'm more of a listing agent. In that case, I could set this, because this means I have customization there. I could set this differently. Right here. I don't want that primary section there. I can add, you see that these are movable, but there's additional widgets. So if I wanted to add a little quick thing here, so I got my last 5 searches, or maybe I'm watching some properties I want to keep my hand on, and I want that easy for me to get to, I can put that so it's right there. Or maybe I want to be able to get to my saved searches easily. I could add those. Click save. And it changed it. There's my searches. These are tabs. There's my seller tab. I'm using a live site right now, so there's no sellers in here because it's live and I'm not a licensed agent anymore. I mean, I'm inactive, so I don't have any listings. Power bar here, first 3, if I put 3, anything, of an address, of a name or whatever. First of all, it goes to Google search and brings up any of the properties around you that have FAR. Let's say I typed in FAR. It will bring that up. Second thing it does is it will bring up any properties that are in the MLS that begin with that. Third thing it brings up is, do you have any clients or safe searches with FAR in it? Next thing it's going to bring up is, are there any members, that's you guys, in there that begins with FAR? Goes even further, offices. So maybe you can't remember the entire name, but you believe it begins with an FAR, and you can find it right there, click on it, and you can call them right there from your phone using Paragon Connect. Okay, the near me search. How many of you use this? Oh my goodness. Anybody here use HomeSnap back when HomeSnap was wonderful?
Yeah.
And it had the near me search?
This is that, okay.
This is that, only it's not HomeSnap, it's Paragon, okay? It will bring up all of the properties near you. Active, new, pending, and sold. Sold is the one that hooks me up because I don't want all the sold from the beginning of MLS time. I just want the actives around me. There's a workaround for that. If you don't have it, I will send you the step-by-step instructions that I myself put together. You just need to get me a note somehow so that I can do that for you. Okay, there's a workaround where you reset the near me search pulls from multi-class. So what we do is we reset our multi-class search, that when we're using it, it will always bring up just the actives only. I can always use my filter to go get pendings and solds and put in the sales date if I want it, where it comes in handy. How would I use a near me search? Anybody?
You're at a house and the client likes it and they want to know, is this a good price? And you can say, well, look at, here's the ones around you that have just sold and they're all 100 grand more. So yes, this is a great price. Buy it today.
Yeah. Actually, 3 years ago, the market that I left was, we walked in, we had our appointment, there was a line going in, a line going out. They had 5 offers, they were taking offers by 7, it's 5:45. And my folks want to be in that too. What should we offer? What are things going for? I walked myself over to their phone, I hit the near me search, I said, here you go. Let's look at these. And then I can click on them. The tags, the ones that are green outlined, those are actives. The ones that are purple are pending and red are sold. We could look at all the details right there on my phone, right there in their car, or standing at their car. There's another one. I'm working at open house. The person walks in, we hit it up. They're not working with anybody. They start asking me questions. I saw one as I was driving in. What do you know about that property? Near me search. Brings it right up. Maybe it's coming soon, not taking showings. I'm still going to see it because I'm an agent. And I can show it to them. Hey, let me text that to you. What's your phone number? Anybody see what I did there? Come on. You can email it to them. Okay, what's your email address? Let me send that to you. Okay, you could look up open houses. Maybe you want to be that resource, be seen as that resource, and you tell them where the open houses are. All of those things are things that you can use the near research for. Okay. Searching properties. I'm just gonna go here. Remember when I told you that you can customize? Where is my laundry? Right here. This thing right here. This is not on yours unless you've been in a class and reset it with me. To customize this template, all you have to do, whenever you see a gear, means you've got some customization you can do. It lists the things that are here, and a plus sign means I can add a new field or a new container. That primary option section, and then you have secondary section, and you have, I can't remember what the third one is, but there's a third section there, usually is listing agent information. Those are your things. You can put whatever you want into those containers. You can create more containers. Maybe you want a school container. Maybe, yes,
I'm sorry, how did you get to this page? I missed a step.
no problem. All right, I'm gonna go back home.
Okay.
I use the hamburger menu. Now, you guys know in Paragon Professional, there's several ways to get to the same place, right? Paragon Connect's no different. I could use the hamburger menu to get there, or I could just go here. Residential search.
Wait.
Okay? You with me? Okay,
So if you use the hamburger menu, cause our dashboards might look different than yours.
yours might be. So let's go to the hamburger menu.
There you go.
Search properties.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Uh-huh.
Do this search.
Takes you there. Now I have the
Okay.
different classes. I could go right to a near me search. Maybe I'm looking for an open house. Does anybody here know the difference between a tour and an open house?
That's one video.
There's a difference. Tours are for brokers and agents. It's a broker or agent tour. Okay, we don't do them very often. We used to do them back in the day, 24 years ago. I used to do them all the time. Every time we got a new listing, we have our meeting twice a month. We were in the mountains, and we have the south part of the mountains first and the north part of the mountains on the next day. But we would all, after our meeting, get up in our cars and we go tour our new listings. Okay, we don't do that very much anymore. I have attended some. They're usually high-end properties where I get a personalized invitation for inviting people. That is a broker tour. Open houses are for the consumer. Now, have I ever taken somebody to a broker tour? I did, but only with the permission of the listing agent. All right, so you can look up those. Or you could go to residential, which is where we're going. And then I want to customize. Where's my, there it is. There's my customization primary. And then there's a plus button. Add new fields. You can start typing in the field that you're looking for. When I was looking for my laundry, I just started doing laundry and it gave me a couple of different ones. I'm doing bedroom because maybe I want primary bedroom. I don't think I've added that yet. Maybe I have. Yep. I'm gonna add the primary bed level field. I'm gonna put it in my primary criteria and click add. Now I don't want it at the bottom because that's where it automatically puts it. So I'm just gonna grab it and pull, and I want it up here with bedrooms. That makes sense to me. If I save it, it's going to just have it in here for me for this search only. If I want to save it forever, I'm going to click save search. I'm going to name it. Or I can name it and I can assign it to a contract. Once I put a name in here, it will ask me, do I want to assign that to a contact or am I just naming it for myself? Or this is something I want to see every time I go into my residential search. Save as a default. You just click that button, you'll click save, and then it will always be there for you. You ever decide to get rid of it? You just go back to that customization, go back and find it. You're unclicking everything because you're going to click this. Save. No, just the opposite. There we go. Now it's not there anymore. If I had done it the other way, all my other fields would have disappeared. All right, so you can do that. If you're not wanting to scroll down, you're on your phone. This is an awful lot of stuff to scroll through because this is what this looks like if you're on your phone. You don't want to scroll through all of these fields. Just click on your binoculars. not gonna do it for me because I'm using an app here, but you click on your binoculars and start typing for the name of the field that you're looking for. It will bring it right up. Let's say you are putting stuff in here and then you got a phone call and it took 10 minutes or 15 minutes for you to get off the phone with that person. You forgot where you were. This wonderful little icon here, boom, criteria summary. If I clicked on that, it would just show me all the fields I've filled out. So now I know where I left off. I can go to my saved searches here. I could go to my last 5. Oh, 3 dots means I have options. I love options, right? It's my customized fields. Okay. So there's a little bit about that. Your saved searches, I'm going to go to that. Those are these templates I've created or saved searches that I created for those common searches that I'm always doing. You'll see it has all of my searches in here. I have a search template because I've got somebody who's looking for a 55 plus community. I can hit run or edit. I can start adding more stuff to it. Taking stuff out. It's told me I've got 15 results. Search, that took me 2 seconds. It took me a little bit longer simply because I was talking to tell you what was what. So don't put in, my point being is don't fill out stuff that you always fill out over and over and over and over again. Just save it as a safe search, go straight to it. All right.
You get to save searches again?
Right here,
Oh, gotcha.
file
Thank you.
folder.
Okay.
If you're at the home button and you know that you just want save searches, it's under your quick actions, your save searches. Or if I put my save searches here, it will list them all here for me. It doesn't have all of them, but if I were to click, there we are. All right, CRS data. I can get to CRS data through looking at a property. So I'm going to go back to here to do this because I just want to steal a market monitor. Because I just want to show you these Skittles. They call these Skittles or icons, but these are CRS data ones. The first one is the one that's going to show me all of the stuff that I want to show you. First off, if it was listed in the MLS, I'd see the MLS pictures if there were any. All right, then it gives me general parcel information. I think I'm on a land listing. That's not a great listing. There we go. I know about you, but this information is a required field on the MLS. If for no other reason, I want that, I'm going to click that page and save it to my file. Because if I'm inputting that as a listing agent, let's say I just went to CRS data directly to look that up, I need that. It gives me all other information, links to the county, school information, sales history, assessment information, mortgage history, any foreclosure history. Why might that be important? Anybody?
So you've got the info. So you can sound intelligent about the house you're listing. You know the history. And
Yes.
talk readily about
Yes,
it.
what else could happen if you were dealing with a for sale, a foreclosure, and they're trying to get it sold before that?
Oh, yeah, your buyers need to know what's going on too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, have any of you know what a short sale is?
Gotta work with the bank to get that done.
Yeah, if you don't know what a short sale is, it simply is when the seller is going to owe more than they are going to get, and they can't pay off the lien holders. Not they're bringing cash to the table. That's not what this is. This is you're gonna have to not only negotiate the deal between buyer and seller, but also the bank or that mortgage holder. They take longer, and you do have to disclose that as soon as you know it. You may not know it first in the door. You may think you're here, but over time you have to reduce, and now you're a short sale. That's the other reason why you might want to know. It would give you property characteristics. My favorite place here, FEMA. This right here, this firm panel, that is the one. But if this were in a flood zone, this would be AE over here. This is not in a flood zone. X means nope, it's fine. Let's pretend that it is. I could click on that and it will take me to FEMA. This usually populates in. It's probably going to get, it shows me it would show me where that property is in conjunction with an actual flood zone. Then if I want documentation from FEMA on that, there's a little file folder that holds that information, and I didn't have to go researching on FEMA and hoping that I was in the right place. You can get that information on RPR, but it's harder to get to. Okay. So that's how you get to that information from a listing. RPR are these two from a listing. You guys have single sign-on when you go to there, so you won't have that sign in again. If you do, let Beth know, because you should be. It is giving me information about this property. Where's that RVM or AVM? Right here. As a listing agent, that doesn't make me very happy. But as a listing agent, I will have done my homework and have the documentation I need in my file to be able to back up that price that we gave it. I say we, me and my seller. Seller makes a decision. As a buyer's agent, I'm gonna do some homework. I'm doing that anyway, right? It gives you that range, and it tells you how confident it is. I see 2 stars. This tells me they're not very confident in their price. Okay, so there's may very well be a good reason. Anybody else know why you might want to look at RPR or CRS data to find a comp? For sale by owners are not always in the MLS. In order for them to be in the MLS, it would have to have had a buyer, have a buyer representative, you, okay, a buyer's agent, who says, hey, to your buyer when you've closed, can I put this in as a comparable property only? And they go, yeah, sure, I don't care. And then you put the information in there as a sold. You have 7 days to do that from the time it closed. If you miss that window, you're done, you can't put it in. You do need the owner's permission, and that would be the buyer. Okay, so that would be one thing, because those aren't going to be in the MLS except if somebody entered it. So if there's several properties in there that were for sale by owners, that's going to affect your marketing price. You'd want to know that. And I can assure you that even if you don't want to know that, they're going to know that. They're going to wonder why you don't know that when you show up for your appointment. So there's another reason. Okay, I can go directly to either one of those things instead of going through, but I can go straight up here to tax. If I want to autofill, I'd go to Nebraska. You can do Iowa if you're licensed in Iowa, but Nebraska, and it's going to ask you for a couple pieces of information. You only need one, but it will start bringing up the property. Okay, you're going to need an address. You start bringing that up. It goes, is this the one you want? You go, yep, and it fills in some of that stuff, like your parcel number, the legal address, those kinds of things. So you don't have to type it in. Just make sure it's right. Okay. But if I just want to do a search, I've got that listing appointment and I'm going here. You do have to have a county. Somebody give me a county. Washington?
Sure.
Okay. I'd have to have an address to go any further. Does anybody have a Washington county? Or I can change my county. Let me go back. I know addresses in Lincoln because that's where I live. I'm sorry. $600. Is my favorite address. It brings up the information for me. There's that. I gotta have this for that required field. I need that. I'm gonna need subdivision information. I'm gonna need to know what type. I need that parcel number. I could print this whole page, guys, or save it as a PDF from my file. That owner information right here. I will tell you, if you click on white pages, that's an additional service that's not part of CRS data, that's outside of, and they will want you to pay for the information that they're trying to sell you. But everything else is provided by CRS data. You go there. Let's say I want to see what the comparables are for this property. Ooh, comparables. Do it quick. Don't try to do CMA and client report, because the client report is actually a CMA. You're going to spend a lot more time there. Oh, look, Zestimate. It lists, gives me some sales price, gives me some graphs. It's wonderful. I can adjust my parameters here, but then it tells me what's what. What I like about it is it puts all of those on a map so I can see where they are in conjunction with my property. And me knowing this area really well, I know that I don't want to keep these properties as potential comps because they're on the other side of a major street and that neighborhood's very, very different than this neighborhood. They think it's a comp, they don't know. That's where your expertise comes in. It gives you all that information on those properties. Solds. This is in my way. There's a scroll button, a scroll all the way over here. So these continue and also sales prices. Those are things that you're going to want. In RPR, to get to RPR, resources, RPR market trends. Come on, catch up. Okay, I found where I'm at. It gives me, for April, tells me this is what's happening. It's a seller's market. Is that right? Douglas County?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's giving me, all right, this is property type. I want single family. I want it to apply to all of the charts that I'm gonna look at. And it changes and it gives me some graphs that I can print. This is a real quick way to get information about a county before you go running out the door because you're running late. Okay. You can share this information. Let's say I want to share. Oh, come on. There we go. We can't go directly to, but you could click on more and you'll have a chance to copy paste. You can also use their AI information for your flyers, for your open house, for your public remarks, for marketing, whatever it is you want to use it for, you can utilize that. Just please read it before you hit print or share or copy paste or whatever it is you're doing and make sure that the public remarks that it gave you is accurate. It doesn't have these soaring windows and bright light when the house is in shade. It doesn't have soaring windows, okay? Just make sure it's right. These are all tools that are designed to help you. Okay, got 5 more minutes. I want to make sure I show you where you can find Canva templates here. So let's say you want to do a market analysis thing and you want to put it together and have it on a flyer for your open house for that neighborhood. Okay, and I'm just going to go with what it has here. All right, but I want it to be in a template. So I'm going to go over here to learn and right there, Canva templates. Yes, I'm okay. They have a video that you can watch so you can learn how to use it. Custom pages. These are tabs. So you can click which one of those tabs is going to work for you. And here are the ones that you could use. Let's just pick one. And you can start plugging in the information. Click print, you're done. That fast. Info Sparks. That's the one I didn't want to forget. Are you all familiar with fast stats? All right, well, I'm going to click on go over that, I guess, real quick. So fast stats, you'll see on the 15th here, April market stats are available. Okay, resources. Fast stats, Omaha, Lincoln, or regional. I'm just going to go for Omaha. Select an area, Douglas. I want the most recent. Boom. For April. It's always going to be a little bit behind for the month previous. And that's why it goes all the way to the 15th for us to get it because they're waiting for all the solds to get marked sold with all the information so they can pull good stats. And it gives it to you all right here. This is the bigger picture is what I call it, the more overall, okay? I used to print these and put them in my packets. Sometimes I would take them to my open houses and use them as things I could talk about. Let's say I want to double down and I want to get some information on a particular, where's my info sparks? Right there. Info sparks right there. you can really break this down. You can save your own areas if you want to by drawing a little map. You can check all of these price ranges or one of them, or if you want to customize it, maybe you want more than one price range. You click on here and hold it down when you're clicking on it with the shift button, I think, and that will allow you to click more than one price range. So I'm gonna go with this one. We'll leave it with all types. I want single family. I'm gonna leave that all sizes. All construction types. All years. I want 4 bedrooms. And I want 2 bathrooms. It gave me some information here. These are tabs. Okay? These are how do I want to see this information and how far back, and do I want monthly, rolling, or yearly? So I want a bar graph. I'll say the last 2 years, and I want a rolling 3-month. And I don't like these. Let's go 3 bedrooms. And we'll go 3 years. And we'll go back to the line. Close price, median, or average. New listings. Homes for sale. Pending. All of those different information. If I want to pick, let's say I want to go with one of my areas that I saved. It's going to be under my areas. Country club. It's already got all that information. I can change it from here if I want to. I can change some of that information. And I want to talk about what price per square foot is. If I hover over that, it gives me the actual stuff. If you want to add an area, you close that one. All right, add an area. I'll come. All right, think. By the way, the user manual and frequently asked questions is this tab right here. It will walk you through just about anything. It's very user friendly. So I want to customize. I can do the entire or custom range. Where do I want to start? Price ranges. I can clear that. You can draw a map, and I'm drawing a total blank as to where I'm supposed to do that. There you go. Entire MLS, Lincoln area. I'm not doing very well here. Believe it or not, I did this before I got here, and I cannot for the life of me think of where I find that map. I'm going to have to send you all instructions in writing on how to do that so that I can go through what I wanted to share with you. You can draw a map of a neighborhood. Okay, so you have your map there, you draw, I use the polygon chart, you draw it out around that neighborhood. Maybe you're just doing a neighborhood. Okay, you're gonna be doing an open house and you wanna have some stats and figures for just that street. Okay, maybe it's been moving a lot. You can draw that out, and then you can start clicking these things here about how fine-tuned you wanna get. Okay, now you've got information for just that neighborhood. That will also help you if you have priced a home and the seller did not price it where you thought it should be and went higher, and you need to get a price reduction, use InfoSparks. It has all of the information in there, and you can show them. If you need to show them the houses, obviously you're going to use the MLS for that, but just to give them the numbers, you can do it that way. I've done it that way actually, and it worked. All right, questions? Nobody? About anything? MLS. Anything I didn't answer that I should have?
I have a question, just a random question that doesn't have to do with this, but in the MLS, when you save, how long does it save a CMA that you've done? Because I don't have many in here. but I've done many.
My gut says it saves it for a year.
Okay, so just about a year.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the farthest back I go is June 2024.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
and this is what I did, is yes, it saved it for me, but I always downloaded my
Yeah.
CMA into whatever file that I created, my electronic file for that property, and then I had it that way, and I have to rely on it.
And that's what I do. I just didn't know
Yeah.
if it was in this.
I think it keeps it for a year.
Okay, otherwise it'd be like
Oh.
overloaded. Yeah.
Okay, now I have a question. Why do you need to cover, rather save a CMA?
Why do I need to save a CMA?
That long, yeah.
I'm just curious. Sometimes I've done a CMA for somebody and it's been a couple of years and then they decide, okay, now I'm ready. I wanna,
Okay.
rather than renew, just add, rather than redo the whole thing, just add things in, but I can't. So I have to redo
Maybe
it.
you're doing a CMA on an area and you wanna update it. That's a common one. Common one that she gave, yes.
You hit that entire MLS down arrow. On mine, you can scroll down to that pencil
know
there
what?
on the go left.
You know what? I got stuff that's blocking my
Do you
view.
see that? Do you
Yep.
see that pencil?
Yep, hold on. Yep. Look at you, Lisa.
Well, you know.
That's the one thing about Zoom.
Cancel it.
You can't see it, but I have this, my controls for Zoom was at the bottom and it was covering up.
cut you
I
off.
was like, it should be right here.
You knew where it was. It was
I
just
did.
freaking you out.
I couldn't see what was causing me the issue. So thank you. All right, so you can draw it. All right, here it is. I'm gonna use a paragon. Let's first of all, make this a little closer.
If you go down to the right a little bit, keep scrolling down. That button right above the person. There, now you can scroll in and out.
Thank you.
That's fairly new, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't
It
there.
used to always be on the screen and then.
Yeah, there was a
it
little thing, yeah,
it
there's a
took me
thing
forever
there.
to figure it out.
All right.
Suzanne.
I'm gonna draw, you can type in a location too. So if you know the address of where it is you're wanting to go around, so that open house, 123 Anywhere Street, let's pretend that's a real address. I could type that in there. It'll put my map and then I can use my paragon to the shape thing and you can draw your shape out.
Probably not.
Click save and then it'll save it and then you can all of that stats for it. Thank you. All right.
You
Anything
got us
else?
there. I just could see it all.
I could not see it on my computer because these things right here are in my way. All right. Things that presenters, we hate when stuff like that happens. It's like, I really do know what I'm doing, guys. All right.
That's a lot. Those are cool tools.
Yeah. If any of you want to know anything more about any of the things that I talked about, you can call me, you can email me, I can set up a Zoom call, I can come meet with you for coffee, I can do a small group training, whatever it is you guys need. There is no additional charge to have me come out here and do what I'm doing or have me meet you for coffee. Well, maybe by a cup of coffee. That would be good. No, you don't have to. My point being is I will come here and I will help you. And I've been here a few times for some small groups, you part of it.
Are there a lot of different training materials on this website too? Okay.
Info, Sparks, and Fast Stats is provided by Showing Time, believe it or not. And where I showed you that help section, that help manual to frequently asked questions.
Yep.
That's where I go to when people ask me stuff and I'm not sure where it is in there. I will go there and it takes me right to it. Right. I also have a video that was done about a year ago with InfoSparks. A teacher doing an example with me and the rest of our staff, all those 3 ladies I was telling you about, we were all in it and they recorded it and sent it to me and I have it. And if you'd like to have it, please send me an email. I will send you it. And you can watch it at your own convenience or start it or stop it, whatever. Denise asked a ton of really great questions during this thing. And I sent it to some other folks and they're like, thank you so much. So feel free to ask me for it. I'll be happy to send it to you.
I feel like you work in, I'm gonna call it the traditional paragon, the regular professional, or are you in the Connect more when you're on your laptop?
I work in Paragon Connect most of the time. I do. Part of that is because that's where I do the majority of my classes. So it keeps me using it. Before this position, I used Paragon Professional all the time because Paragon Connect at that point didn't have an app. It was with Black Knight. ICE bought out Black Knight, and with ICE came a whole bunch of power stuff. And they came out with the app. They are the ones that have been improving it. It changes a lot. I have to redo a lot of my help manuals that I make for you guys because they moved an icon or they changed the icon. And I'm like going, where did my icon go? And then I realized that they made some small little change to make it easier and more friendly for you guys. And I have to go back and change my steps. So yeah, I use Paragon for everything. The only thing I can't use Paragon Connect for right now is to do a CMA. Okay, so if I'm gonna use Paragon to do a CMA, I have to go into Paragon Professional to do that, or use RPR, or use CRS data. And when I did my CMAs, I used the one in Paragon Professional, but I also used some tools out of those other two items as well, and all together gave me my presentation. All right, now, having said that, I'm hoping really, really, really soon, and I've been saying it for over a year now, Paragon has a product, and if you go to one of those webinars, one of them is on Easy CMA. We have not turned it on because it's not working for our area the way it should. And it has to do with the way our fields are mapping on the backside. Paragon, ICE, who builds Paragon, does MLSs across the country. Every MLS does things a little bit differently. So our fields, those bedrooms and locations and prices, all of those are fields to them, and they're not pulling over in the right order. So when I go in and I'm pulling comps on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, some of my comps have no bathrooms. I don't think that'll fly if I need that for a presentation, do you?
Oh.
No. They're fixing it. It's just taking some time to do it. We've had to change some things too. Anyone else?
Did you show? For that buyer seller, like that collaboration center app, how do you send an invite to somebody?
Great question. So, regardless of which one you're in, and I'm just going to show you, you can do it from Paragon. Let's just do Paragon Connect, because that's where we should all be, right? All right, so I'm going to go into my contacts. And I'm going to click on Guinevere. Now you'll see that I don't have a phone number for her. Where's Guinevere? Here she is. But I have an email for her. And this, the Collab Center, is grayed out because I have not turned it on. But that's where we're going to go. And seller activity. I don't have a search or anything set up for her. So if I want to, this is a bad one to do. This is going to take more time than we got. Okay. There's selling. There she is. All right, so I'm in here. See this up here? Because her collaboration center is on. That was the key. The key has the email where I would hit send. And hold on, message history. That's what it sent her. It sent her this invitation right here. That's all you have to do. So once you have your contact in, you've done a search for a buyer, okay? Once you get there, you have to turn it on. You'll get to a little spot there, you click, and you're saying, how often do you want them to send that automatic email? Do you want them to get it every day? Do you want it at a certain time? Do you want it to be immediate? All those things. You set that up. When you send that first, you remember where you used to send the welcome email for the Collab Center? It's the same thing, okay? That you hit that send button, it sends them the invitation with the code. And down here, it gives them what it looks like, and they can click on whichever store it is that they need for their system.
Okay, so when I'm on my phone and I went to somebody's name, then what do I do?
Do you have a search set up for them?
It should. It's just me.
Yeah, search set up.
I need a search. All right.
Having a search set up is key. All right. And I've learned that the hard way.
It's not.
I put somebody in there, I've got all their information and I wanna send them an invitation and I'm like, where's my invitation thing? Where's my little thing? Have to have search set up.
So if there's a search set up, then there's like a button or something, I don't know. When password was set up, it should say.
What would happen? There's some search set up.
Yes, right. Just said it, I was like, I was like. You're all fine. The very first day, see, Nikki was in for my class at first day, so that's how it was. Everyone, oh, okay. I know, that she went to make sure her wife is the rock star, she don't know. You're still staying home.
Yeah. I was thinking.
I'm on.